Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the virtual community meeting for the Southern California Gas Ventura Compressor Project. My name's Steve Bennett. I'm your state assembly member, and along with Senator Monique Limon, we were called upon by many different stakeholders involved in this project to hold this informative meeting that we have here today. And so we want to thank all of you for your participation in this meeting today, so we can clarify the roles of the state regulators, what they can and can't do, the information that they need, et cetera. We can hear from the community members about issues and things that they have brought up. So in partnership with the Westside Clean Air Coalition, we have tried to coordinate some of the planning for this. We've received questions early. We've passed those along to the state agencies to help them prepare. And we look forward to a robust Q&A discussion at the end. A few business sort of things for you to be aware of. The meeting is being live streamed to Facebook. A recording will be posted on our legislative websites, Senator Limon and my websites. During the Q&A, if you are speaking, if you'll please speak slow and steady to allow our translators ample time to interpret properly. And my apologies to the translators for not being as slow as I should have been until I got to this spot. We both, Senator Limon and I, really want to thank everybody who made this event possible, the Westside Clean Air Coalition for their partnership, all of our presenters here today, the community selected air pollution experts, the Ventura County Air Pollution Control District, the Department of Toxic Substances and Control, the California Public Utilities Commission, to the state California Air Resources Board, those who are in attendance and will be participating during the Q&A, to the DCO and the Ventura Unified School District for providing the tech support, the in-person venue arrangements, and the translation services. So Board President Velma Lomax, I understand, along with Vice President Matthew Alvarez and Sabrina Rodriguez, board member, along with Superintendent Roger Rice, and their communications coordinator, Mary Ann Queros, are all going to be in attendance today and helped us pull this off. And thanks to all of you in attendance, including the elected officials. And at this point in time, I'm aware of Council Member Jeannette Sanchez Palacios and the office of U.S. Senator Dianne Feinstein. If there are other elected officials, if you will please let us know. We'd like to make sure that we introduce you. To the Southern California gas representatives who are here today, and helped with this presentation, along with our legislative offices staff. And they have worked really hard, staff of Senator Limon's office and my staff members, to pull this off. Thank you for your hard work. The Ventura County Air Pollution Control District is our first presenter here. And I would like to point out that the Air Pollution Control District protects public health and agriculture from the adverse effects of air pollution, and they identify air pollution problems. They're a very appropriate agency for us to have here today. And Ali Gashami is the engineering manager, along with Keith Macias, John Hardy, and Zach Jerkowski will be the specialist. And so we look forward to hearing from you today. And I will move on to Senator Limon for her opening comments.
Thank you, Assemblymember Bennett, and thank you everyone for joining us. I join you from Sacramento today, and I think that this is a very important element that's involved in this particular process. I know community participation is essential for this process. Our offices, and really our joint offices, Assemblymember Bennett and myself, became aware of this issue in April. And since April, we have been engaging with state agencies, with the community, with the regulators to gather information about the compressor station project and the process. Our offices have had conversations with community advocates, the Department of Toxic Substance Control, the California Public Utilities Commission, and SoCal Gas. This is one more element in this particular space. I know very often the community looks to us as elected officials to lead on conversations like this, but we are also, there is a separation of power where we can't tell agencies what to do, but certainly we can inquire, ask information, ask for information, ask questions, and ensure that in the future, the legislative process allows for regulators to consider situations like these. After gathering all of this information, including the concerns raised by residents and community leaders, it became very apparent that we needed a forum for our community to ask questions and to be heard. And that is exactly why we are here today. This is that space that we've created, particularly with our state agencies, which is very important. We set this up as a way for our state agencies to also be involved in the conversations. Several of the conversations that our offices have had have been with us as elected leaders and our offices and staff who are also on this particular virtual gathering. And it's been important for us to allow and create the space to have the concerns heard that many in the community have raised, but also bring together some of the experts to be able to answer some of the questions and address some of the concerns. I think it's, I want to also echo the many thanks to all of those involved. There are many of you involved that help make this happen, including the Ventura Unified School District, the board members who have been leading the conversation, Ventura City Council members, and many others who have reached out and ensured that we are creating a space for all of those concerns and questions to be answered. It is our hope that after this conversation, that after this space, we can continue to address some of the issues and try to think about ways that we can move forward. So with that, we're going to go ahead and start. And I'd like to introduce our first presenter from our state agency. That's Alan Plaza. He's the unit Chief and Supervising Hazardous Substances Engineer from the California Department of Toxic Substance Control. So as you can see, that's a very long title. So we will begin there, and then we will have other presenters. Following, the presentation, we'll have other presenters, and then at the end, we'll start addressing some of the questions. So Alan, I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to you.
Thank you, Senator. And let me share my screen. I think that's the wrong screen. Give me a second here. Okay, apologize. Again, my name is Alan Plaza. I'm a unit chief from the Department of Toxic Substances Control. I'm going to be presenting the removal action plan that was submitted by the Southern California Gas Company. It is a former manufactured gas plant that needs to undergo cleanup. DTSC is a state regulatory agency. We are part of the California Environmental Protection Agency and responsible for overseeing cleanup of contaminated sites. Removal action plan, or a cleanup plan, was prepared by the gas company to address contamination in the southern portion of the site. There were two other cleanup plans that we approved and were completed back in 2009 and 2011. The sources of contamination is from the former MGP manufactured gas plant that ceased operation more than 100 years ago. In order to identify the nature and the extent of the contamination at the site, soil vapor, and groundwater samples were collected and analyzed. There are several hazardous constituents that were analyzed, and a complete list, can be reviewed in the removal action work plan. These are the contaminants that we found in the soil. The polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, total petroleum hydrocarbons or TPH, arsenic, and lead. Again, there are more hazardous constituents that were analyzed, but these are the constituents that exceed the cleanup levels. A human health risk assessment was prepared to support the RAW in 2020, and that concluded that the residents are not at risk from contamination at this site. The reason why the RAW is submitted is to address potential health risks to the on-site workers. The cleanup goals at this site is pretty restrictive. It's residential and background levels. It is estimated that 1,700 cubic yards or 2,500 tons of contaminated soil will be excavated from the top 3.5 to 7 feet and transported off-site to an authorized facility. There are approximately 2 to 5 trucks per day that will be for a duration of about 2 to 3 months to complete the cleanup. The excavated area will be tested to ensure that it meets the cleanup goals before backfilling with clean fill. Since the cleanup involves excavation, our main concern is to control the dust during the excavation and transportation process. So the RAW includes dust control measures and air monitoring that will be implemented to comply with the Ventura County Air Pollution Control District rules. The RAW was available for public comment between January 11 and February 10 of 2021, and DTSC approved the final RAW on March 2nd, 2021. This is the map of the contaminated area. As you can see, there have been several samples that were collected to make sure we properly characterize the site and know exactly where the contamination are. This is the contaminated area, the one that's delineated in black line, and it's this blue dots. These are some soil borings that were taken, or where samples were taken to analyze for the different hazardous constituents. There were many community comments received during the public comment period. Some of them were addressed already in the RAW. This include the dust control measures, as I mentioned before, the traffic impacts, public health impacts. As I mentioned earlier, the contamination at the site currently does not pose a threat, and it will not pose a threat during and after the cleanup. We also received several comments that were outside the scope of the RAW. This includes methane emissions, approval of the modernization plan, operation of the compressor station, and demolition of buildings containing asbestos. I'm not going to go over this flow chart, but this is the process that we go through in approving this remedial action removal action work plan. So, but if there's any question regarding our process during the Q&A, I'll be happy to go over this with you. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan, for your presentation. Next, we actually have presenting is Rachel Peterson, the Executive Director of the California Public Utilities Commission.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Senator Limon and Assemblymember Bennett, for having me the opportunity to join today. My name is Rachel Peterson. I am the Executive Director of the California Public Utilities Commission. I am joined today by Grant Mack on this dais. He is the Director of our Office of Governmental Affairs, and he's going to help me with showing and moving slides forward. Grant, can you share your screen, please? All right, very good. At the outset, what I'd like to say is that the commissioners of the CPUC have heard from the community at several of our recent public meetings. I have been present at those meetings and have heard from the community as well. What I'd like to do today, my aim is to be informative and to answer as many community questions as possible, and also talk about our role as well as the recent direction that we've given to SoCalGas in response to community concerns. Grant, next slide, please. Are you able to move the slides?
Was it not moving? I just showing up moved on my screen.
Oh, it could be me. Okay. So apologies. The CPUC's mission, I'm sorry, I'm not seeing.
Is everyone else seeing the slide? It should say CPUC mission.
The
Yes.
slide.
Yes.
I apologize. I seem to be having bandwidth issues. If it's okay with everyone, I am going to go off camera so that I save some bandwidth. I really apologize for this. If everyone else can see the slides and can hear me, I'll go ahead. I really apologize. The internet service quality needs to be improved statewide. The CPUC's mission is to empower California through the regulation and provision of affordable, clean, and reliable utility services and infrastructure. Next slide, please. In this presentation, I'm going to speak about the CPUC's role, a little bit about the background of the Ventura Compressor Station, a brief overview of SoCalGas's proposal, and then a slide on our energy transition proceedings. Next slide, please. With respect to natural gas in particular, the CPUC regulates the safety, reliability, and ratepayer cost of utility natural gas service. Just a little bit about this. Our regulatory attention flows from elements like customer metering and billing, which are very important to fairness and customer cost, to monitoring the gas procurement market, which is also very important to keeping ratepayer costs down, to monitoring the flow and transmission of natural gas along the natural gas transmission and distribution systems, which are often impacted by weather events in other states and thus affect reliability and price here in California. And then, of course, the reason that we're here today, we're also in charge of regulating the proposals and cost of infrastructure, maintenance, and operations of natural gas systems, such as those run by utilities like Southern California Gas Company. In the second bullet on this slide, I describe one of those ways that utilities propose infrastructure, maintenance, and operation budgets to us. It's called a general rate case. It generally has a 4-year time horizon. It's presented to an administrative law judge that works at the CPUC. It is extensively litigated with extensive stakeholder and public input. and the final proposal must be voted on by our 5 commissioners before it's placed into rates. Any funding approval, and this is what I especially want to point out today, any funding approval by the commission requires any utility to obtain all relevant local permits and be accountable and responsive to the community. In this particular situation, the Ventura Compressor Station was proposed in SoCalGas's general rate case that was initiated in 2017 and approved for funding by the commission in September 2019. Next slide, please. Because we've heard from the community in recent weeks, we've instructed SoCalGas to take several steps. One is to review alternative engineering solutions such as electric powered compressors and alternative locations for the compressor station. We also have directed them to halt any further planning and procurement until additional review is complete. Those were in letters that I issued from my office in the last few weeks. We've also instructed the company to hold a public forum to address the full analysis of all options, including engineering and siting options that they considered for this compressor station upgrade, as well as an explanation of how this project factors into both local and statewide safe and reliable service, as well as the broader decarbonization efforts that are now occurring in California. Next slide, please. Here's a little bit about the station itself. It was built in 1923. There are 3 compressors present, and this station serves approximately 230,000 residential customers. In response to some of the community questions, we have been working on examinations of the demand both downstream of the station, which has remained stable for about 10 years, and demand in SoCalGas's broader service territory. This is for all the customers that it serves. That is actually expected to decrease by approximately 1% per year from 2020 to 2035. There is one significant change, which is that local natural gas production has decreased by 90% since 2010. And that has changed some of the conditions in which this compressor station is operating. The CPUC has certain thresholds for safety incidents that have to be reported to us. There have not been any safety incidents that rose to those thresholds in our safety incidents database, which I asked staff to check the records for that date to 1995. Next slide, please, Grant. This is a brief comparison of the existing station to the proposed station. As you can see, the number of compressors would increase from 3 to 4. The horsepower for each would increase, and the total station horsepower would increase as well. Interestingly, the volume of gas to be delivered annually to Santa Barbara and San Luis Obispo counties, which are the ones downstream of this station, is forecasted to be approximately the same volume but incorporates also that expected decrease over the long term that I reported on in the last slide. And there's a comparison of the safety devices as well. As proposed, the safety devices would remain present with the addition of an emissions control system. Next slide, please, Grant. Also, in response to community questions, we included a slide here about the customer classes, what we call customer classes, which are large groups of customers. In these counties served, it's about 45% residential, 26% small commercial and small industrial customers, and 29% larger commercial, larger industrial, enhanced oil recovery, and electric generation customers. Next slide, please. And as you've noted, I spoke at the beginning about our responsibility to regulate natural gas service for affordability, safety, and reliability. The additional, much larger piece that we are working on at the CPUC is the overall energy transition. California has numerous climate-related mandates that the CPUC is working to be part of and to manage according with our energy programs. We're looking to ensure that what we do at the CPUC is consistent with California's overall goals about the transition towards clean, affordable energy. And we have several programs that are designed right now to manage that transition. We have building decarbonization proceedings, which are specifically directed towards incentivizing all electric buildings and electric appliances. We have a renewable gas proceeding examining how to procure non-fossil based gas. And we have a rulemaking to address long-term gas planning, which includes examination of the natural gas infrastructure that is present and serving California exactly like this compressor station is. I'm going to hazard an attempt to return to video here and conclude by saying again, thank you very much for having the CPUC participate in today's panel. And I'm happy to answer questions when we get to that portion of the agenda. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. We are now going to move over to the Ventura County Air Pollution Control District. As I mentioned before, the mission of the Ventura County Air Pollution Control District is to protect public health from the adverse effects of air pollution. And we have 4 potential speakers here. So I'm going to have all of you from the Air Pollution Control District just follow each other however you have decided to make your presentation. But we will kick it off with Ali Ghassemi, the engineering manager. Welcome and thank you for being here, Ali.
Thank you, Assembly Member Bennett and Senator Limon for this opportunity. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ali Ghassemi. I'm a planning and engineering manager at Ventura County APCD. Let me share my screen. Okay, my agenda for today is to tell you about the Apcd Vision and go over some of the main responsibility at federal, state, and local levels. I brief you on our permitting process and provide you with an overview of SoCal Gas Compressor Station Modernization Project. Our mission is to improve air quality and protect public health and environment. Our vision is to clean air for all. This slide, as you see in this slide, APCD has a limited authority to regulate only stationary sources. We issue operating permits. If, as compared with state and federal, we are limited in authority of certain like sources, but they have a bigger role on regulating, and they are the national and state level. This is the overview of our permitting process. When we receive an application, we have 30 days to deem it complete, to see if all of the information has been submitted. Our permit evaluation activities includes of pre-application meeting, performing emission calculation, evaluating compliance with applicable APCD rules and regulation, and finally establishing permit conditions to ensure compliance. We also conduct public notice if the facility is near school, and we issue a permit to authority to construct. Our authority to construct is valid for 2 years, and it can be extended when the construction is completed. We do field inspection, and if everything is according to what it was instructed in the permit authority to construct, we issue a temporary permit to operate, which during this time, the facility has the opportunity to do the source test and include that they are complying with our rules. And then the permit to operate will be issued finally. The objective of the modernization project is actually to The main objective is to deliver natural gas to the customer safely and reliably. They're replacing old engine with the new engine. They're going to meet the GLETA's storage field summer injection requirement to maintain reliability and to meet the gas demand on coastal system, which has been impacted by the reduced local productions, and finally operating reliably during public safety, public shutdown, which is referred to as PSPS events. This is an overview. This is an overview of, overview of a comparison of the existing equipment with the new equipment. Currently, there are three 1100 horsepower natural gas-fired engine, which are equipped with the pre-combustion chambers and oxidation catalyst. We also require the facility to do biennial source testing. There is also 168 horsepower diesel-fired emergency standby engine, but there is no control. It's not equipped with any control. The current proposal has four 1900 horsepower natural gas-fired engine. Those engines are equipped with non-selective catalytic reduction or three-way catalyst. There is a source testing requirements, biennial source testing requirements, and also there is a continuous emission monitoring device included on those, actually installed on those engines. There is also one 840 horsepower natural gas-fired standby engine, and this engine is equipped with three-way catalyst. I should also note that currently SoCal is evaluating alternative technology, other alternative technology or equipment configuration. These are listed applicable rules. I'm not going to go through it, which is actually subject to this project. I put this slide just for reference. This slide actually give you an overview of summary of permitted emissions. As you will see in this slide, the permitted emission for existing equipment, for new equipment has been reduced for ROC and NOx drastically, but it has been increased for PM, SOx, and CO, which still these limits are below our acceptable limits. I also included in this slide the limit that is going to be on the permit, or there is currently on the permit for NOx and ROC. For existing engines, the limit for NOx is 45 ppm, and for ROC is 140 ppm. For new engine, it becomes 11 ppm and 30 ppm. And these are for each engine. This slide gives you an overview of health risk assessment result, which was completed for this project. This significant threshold for cancer risk is 10 in a million, and for chronic and acute is 1. As you will see in this screen, the maximum cancer risk happens at the property fence line, which is about 6 in a million, still below our cancer risk threshold, significant threshold. And we also included the risk at the nearest residence to the facility, adjacent business, the residence and adjacent business. And also we included two schools, which is one across from the facility, and there is one north of the facility. And they are all indicates that they are below our significant threshold. My conclusion, our engineering evaluation for current project has been completed, is almost completed. We are waiting for SoCal Gas to complete their evaluation of alternative technology or equipment configuration, including electrification. If this project is going to materialize, they're going to provide us with the new proposal, and then staff will evaluate the new proposal, and also we will inform the public of our final decision, and we say comments. That concludes my presentation. Thank you. Senator Lemon, you are muted.
Unmute myself. Okay. Ollie, will Keith or John or Zach be presenting?
No, they are not. That was our
okay. Great. All right. Thank you. And thanks for that presentation, Ollie. We appreciate it. We appreciate all of the APCD staff that helped pull this together. We're now moving.
Thank you.
We're now moving to our community pick experts, and that's Matt Vespa. He is a senior attorney with the Earth Justice. And prior to joining Earth Justice, Matt worked on clean energy related advocacy at the Sierra Club and at the Center for Biological Diversity, where he developed the law and policy related to the analysis of greenhouse gas impacts under the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA. So Matt, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate you being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I didn't know you were going to read my bio. But yeah, so I'm Matt Vespa. I'm a senior attorney at Earth Justice. I've represented environmental groups like the Sierra Club at the California Public Utilities Commission for about the past 10 years, and first connected with community groups in the Ventura area several years ago in opposing the proposed Puente power plant. We reconnected over this project, and I'm helping them navigate the PUC process. I appreciate having the chance to be here and speak today. In my time today, I'd like to make 2 points. First, I appreciate the PUC has now sought additional analysis from SoCalGas and directed it to halt further planning and procurement. However, the fact that it took so much sustained community pressure to get to this point underscores serious shortcomings in how the commission reviews major new capital investments in gas infrastructure expansion, and at what point the public should be notified they are being considered. This is something that needs to change. Second, the most recent PUC letter does not speak to the need for the project at the scale currently contemplated or commit to an environmental review process where the public and other interested entities like the city of Ventura can participate and have their own discovery rights to seek information from SoCalGas on the project. The PUC's recent actions are a good first step, but they are not enough. And I'm gonna share my screen and put on a couple slides. Let's see. Okay. So Ms. Peterson in her presentation referenced the general rate case process. And one thing I want to underscore about that process is it's where all of the utility expenses are reviewed. There are volumes of testimony. It is not a venue where individual projects get much scrutiny. And in the general rate case filing that Ms. Peterson mentioned in 2017, this is what the Ventura Compressor Station Replacement Project got. It got 3 completely vague paragraphs. There was also 1 page of supporting documentation that didn't really say much at all. We need the project because we need it. And at the time this was filed, SoCalGas did not inform the community what was being proposed. Their response in recent PUC data requests stated their outreach did not actually begin until 2019. This was filed in 2017. And I see this in my work all the time. An entity like NRG or SoCalGas wants to expand fossil fuel infrastructure. They get as far as they can with whatever authorizations they need from state agencies before informing the impacted community of their plans to minimize opposition and project momentum. And that's exactly what happened here. They show up at the City of Ventura Council meeting saying, the PUC's already approved this, they have paramount authority over utilities. And what I find troubling about this particular rate case filing is on top of being incredibly vague about what was being proposed, there was no indication that this project was in a disadvantaged community, right next to a school, right next to a boys and girls club. And so it really didn't allow stakeholders in that proceeding or the PUC to have any indication this was something that really merited more scrutiny. And I think what this experience really underscores is the inadequacies of how gas infrastructure investments are currently reviewed at the PUC. Proposed replacements and expansions of the gas system, particularly given California's efforts to rapidly reduce reliance on fossil fuels, need to be reviewed outside of a general rate case where they can be scrutinized more closely with impacted communities informed at the time they are first proposed. But as far as this project goes, we are where we are, and the PUC has told SoCalGas to halt further planning and procurement. What more do we need to see happen? This was referenced a couple times already, but it's important to recognize that they are proposing to more than double capacity at this station at a time of declining gas demand. And so I believe Ms. Peterson mentioned, under their gas report, gas demand is going to go down 15% by 2035. What that estimate does not include is all of our efforts at building decarbonization, which we have to do to meet our climate goals. And this slide is from a recent report from the California Energy Commission on AB 3232, which calls for 40% reductions in climate pollution from buildings by 1990 levels by 2030. And even under a minimal electrification scenario, gas demand goes down quite a bit by 2030. The aggressive electrification scenario is actually what we need to be on track with our decarbonization goals by 2045. There's very little gas demand left by 2030. So I think what we need here is to really think about sensitivities around how much compression do we need under these different gas demand scenarios before we just lock in, this expanded investment. Because one of the best ways to minimize project impacts here is to decrease the size of the facility and not have as many compressors. And certainly, as we continue to reduce reliance on fossil fuels, that should be considered more seriously.
Hey, Matt, I'm sorry to just inject myself here, but we're getting requests to study your pace, please, for translation.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. So the letter the PUC sent also talked about alternative locations. So I'm not going to talk about that too much. But one thing I want to just underscore is this project would remove all of the existing compressors and build new ones. So there's no need for this to be at this sensitive project site. This map just shows the pipeline route. You could put these anywhere on the pipeline route that does not expose a school to this proximate location. And the last thing I want to mention is, what I'm concerned about with the PUC's approach so far is that it's not enough to ask SoCalGas for analysis. There needs to be independent review to determine the appropriate scale, location, and design of this project through an environmental review process that allows for public input. And this is what CEQA is for. And so this is just something I pulled up. This is the PUC doing environmental review for a compressor station replacement at Aliso Canyon. And if they're doing environmental review and an accompanying need assessment for a compressor station at Aliso Canyon, we feel like they should be doing the same thing for a compressor station replacement that is literally next door to an elementary school. So our ask is for the PUC to do the CEQA review on this project, require a certificate of public need and necessity, just like they did for the compressor station replacement at Aliso. An alternative would be for the Air District, which we believe does have discretionary permits here and does have to do CEQA, to be the lead agency. But in my view, the PUC is much better situated to do this, given that they're better able to look at the need for the facility and analyze some of these safety issues. What cannot happen here is SoCalGas building what it wants, where it wants, absent the environmental review that is critical to enabling the scrutiny and the public participation opportunities this project demands. Thank you.
Matt, thank you very much for that presentation. Really appreciate it.
Sure.
Our next community picked expert is Steve Collinay, Dr. Steve Collinay, and he received his doctorate in environmental health sciences from Harvard University with an emphasis in air pollution control. He also earned an SB degree in biological sciences from Stanford University. His research is in the areas of air pollution exposure, pollution control, epidemiology, and risk assessment. So, Stephen, really appreciate having you here today.
Well, thank you for that introduction. What I'm going to attempt to do, and this conversation today, I think has been very useful. I want to attempt a NASA-style flyover of this complex issue in 5 minutes. And so the topics that I want to include are on the slide now. Is that visible to everyone? Well, I didn't.
Not yet, Steve. I don't see any slides up.
Oh, okay. So I thought I did a slide share, requested it. Let's see. Is anything on the screen yet?
Yes, it is now. It just came up.
Okay, so I will go back to trying to get the full slide up there. What I'm going to try and argue today is that we really do need a full environmental impact report for the reasons that are outlined here in this one slide. So environmental justice and environmental equity, we didn't hear that term at all this morning until the last presentation. We tend to have a habit of putting our most polluting and hazardous industrial facilities in lower income neighborhoods, often ones that are communities of color. And there are two highly impacted EJ communities in Ventura County, one of which is the West Ventura neighborhood where this project is located. In terms of public health and safety, our APCD representative talked through that fairly well. The points I want to make are that the DTSC project that we heard about that's documented in the RAW, in terms of that is what I would call a prelude to the project. And in terms of potential impact, no phase of this project is complete, is de minimis, and in combination, the cumulative impacts are really quite significant. So we have criteria air pollutants, the type that are controlled by our APCD. Those are mostly respiratory irritants that lead to things like asthma, emphysema, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, heart disease, and not included in the risk assessment because they're not cancer causing. Then we have toxic and hazardous air pollutants. That's where the health risk assessment was done. We also have greenhouse gases, which are the source of human-caused climate change, global warming, and the planetary weather extremes that we're now witnessing. And in the case of this particular facility, we also have life safety and fire and explosion risk. Methane is highly combustible. An entire neighborhood was leveled in San Bruno in 2010 when a natural gas pipeline ruptured. Our fire departments, in terms of looking at this and measuring it, focus on lower explosive limits. And if it's below those concentrations, they allow the facility to continue. But that begs the question of chronic lower level exposures.
Stephen, let me interrupt you real quick here. We can certainly give you a few more minutes to finish, but I know I failed to go slow enough for the translator. And I know that you're also not going slow enough for the translator. So if you could just slow down a little bit, it'll really help the translator because we do have many non-English speakers on this Zoom here. Thank you very much, Steve.
Oh, no, I appreciate that. I timed out at 5 minutes at my normal pace. So I will go ahead and slow down.
We'll give you a little more time. Right.
Okay. So in terms of alternatives analysis, and we did hear some of that from the Public Utilities Commission, and I certainly appreciate that. But this particular facility is the major stationary source of air pollution affecting this community. Does it really belong in this location near schools, homes, and public facilities? And how about zeroing out the combustion emissions by using electric equipment rather than combustion equipment for the compressor? The concern of PSPS, which is public safety power shutoffs, was raised, but it's also possible to put in microgrids to back up that use. That would literally zero out the combustion emissions, but leave intact the risk of methane leaks and further emissions. And if we were to do a CEQA analysis, the scoping exercise would make these alternatives much more transparent. And I agree with Matt very much in terms of the legal transparency that comes from following CEQA. In terms of California energy and climate goals, last week's UN report on climate indicates that reducing methane is our best and fastest strategy for slowing global warming. It's our high gain dial. And to succeed in the state's goals, we have to have a planned and systematic phase out of both the consumption and production of fossil fuels, including natural gas. Communities are passing REACH codes to electrify new buildings, and existing buildings can be retrofit with electric heat pumps and efficient space and water heating, further reducing the demand for natural gas. It's really important to point out that there is a risk if we take a shorter view, allowing major capital investments to chase incremental environmental improvements. We do so at the expense of timely conversion away from the use and consumption of fossil fuels. And lastly, in terms of regulatory gaps and possible legislative solutions, Why is it that it took a NASA overflight to identify this facility as a super emitter of methane? How long was it in that condition before detected by NASA planes equipped with sensitive detectors? Is this project consistent with, or does it undercut California energy and climate goals? And methane itself is something of a regulatory black hole, as is local responsibility for greenhouse gas emissions, including methane. In my opinion, this project is too large for the city of Ventura, the Ventura APCD, or the county itself to serve as the lead agency on an EIR. A state agency such as CPUC, Cal EPA, or the Attorney General's office, along with multiple state and local responsible agencies, should be conducting such a review. And furthermore, can we do a better job across the state identifying methane emissions and monitoring mitigation progress? Do we need to call in NASA for regular surveillance activity? And finally, if there was ever an intended purpose for CEQA and for conducting an environmental impact report, this project is most certainly the poster child. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Steve. Appreciate that presentation also, and appreciate the opportunity that we had two community-picked experts to join the state regulators here with raising the issues and concerns that they have from the community. We're now moving to the question and answer part of this presentation. And I am trying to intentionally slow my speech down to model what I should have been doing earlier for the benefit of the translators. But we really will ask everybody to try to speak slowly so that the translators have time to get your question or comment properly translated. And we will turn this now over to our moderator, Vianney, and appreciate you playing this role for us, and hope we have a productive session. I think that one of the other things I was supposed to announce is it's 2 minutes that people have in terms of maximum speaking time. Is that correct, Vianney? Great, thank you.
Thank you, Assembly Member. So I will go over a few guidelines as we transition now into the Q&A and public comment section of this meeting. If you are logged into the meeting through the Zoom platform and you're interested in speaking or asking a question, please use the raise hand function located on the bottom of the screen and keep the hand raised until you are called to speak. I will name 5 speakers ahead of time in the speaking order, and then we'll call your name again when it's your turn to speak. You will then be able to enable or open your mic on Zoom. You will have 2 minutes for comments and or questions, and the timer, as you can see, will be displayed on the screen. Anyone who needs interpretation will be given 3 minutes. The participating agencies will then have the opportunity to respond to your questions after the speaker concludes the comments. And any questions that cannot be answered today will be noted for follow-up. You can also, if you prefer not to speak live today, you can submit your question through the Q&A box located on the bottom of the screen. And we do understand that there's participation at different locations, so we will rotate between public speakers on the Zoom platform, the venue at Danza Middle School, the Q&A chat box, and if there's any questions that have been posted on the live stream feeds on both Senator Limon and Assemblymember Bennett's Facebook pages. If you are present at Danza Middle School and would like to speak, please fill out a speaker card and turn it into the designated staff person, and we will add you to the queue. So I will go ahead and name the first 5 speakers that we have, and I do understand that we will start off with Mayor Sofia Rubalcava, who is present at the middle school, followed by Council Member Doug Halter, Council Member Jeannette Sanchez Palacios, Denise Wise, and Superintendent Dr. Rice.
Good morning, everyone. There's a little bit of.
Right from here.
Set it down.
It's fine. We just do it right here.
Good morning. All right, we got rid of that feedback. I'm in the gym here in the back. But I just wanted to say, first of all, good morning to everybody. Thank you so much for being here and for coming to this meeting. And first of all, I would like to thank State Senator Limon and Assemblymember Bennett for all of their staff and for hosting this community meeting. I would also like to thank all of the presenters and the speakers and all of the organizations that came together to make this meeting a reality so that community members could learn more and ask questions here in this setting. And a special thanks to the Westside Clean Air Coalition, who has put in countless of hours to make sure that the community is well informed and to make sure that the concerns of the community are heard. We in the city of Ventura have done all we can to make sure that this issue receives the appropriate attention. We have held public meetings. We have invited SoCal Gas to answer questions. Unfortunately, a whole lot has not been answered. And so that is why we have reached out to the state, our state representatives. We have sent letters to the governor, to the Public Utilities Commission. We have reached out to all of the state agencies who have the power to ask for information and to really require an EIR. And so we as a city would like to continue working with all of our state representatives and agencies to make sure that our community has answers to questions and to make sure that we protect the health and safety of our residents and our community. And so for too long, the people of Ventura have been left out of discussions relating to this gas compressor when they are the ones who will live with the consequences of its expansion. It is the responsibility of the California Utilities Commission and Governor Newsom to ensure an environmental impact report is conducted with speed and transparency. Ventura's Westside community deserves answers and clean air. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Rubalcaba. Next up, we have Councilmember Doug Halter.
Great, thank you very much. I echo our mayor's comments as well, and appreciating our Senator Limon and Assemblyman Bennett in their participation in raising a level of concern to the state level. And I guess the questions I would have more than anything at this point, I think there's been a lot of additional good information today already, but I'm curious about the sense of urgency that the gas company has and why doing an EIR, whether it's an EIR to put the gas compressing station back on the same site or on any of those other alternatives, whether or not why that can't happen, because it seems like something that I would have thought would have happened. I know it's supposed to be an upgrade of existing use. And so I looked into that and know that that doesn't always or usually doesn't require an EIR, but it seems like when we're talking fossil fuels, when we're talking the location that this plant is located so close to the schools and to residents, that we would do a little bit more due diligence and just normally approving replacement of existing equipment. So again, it would be, why is there such a sense of urgency? What is that sense of urgency by the gas company? to repair and do this replacement, into what would it take to do an EIR, and why wouldn't that happen, whether it's on this site or preferably on one of the other sites, alternative sites that were listed earlier. Those are my comments and questions.
Thank you, Councilmember Halter. And if there's any response from any of the participating agencies, please go ahead and provide any feedback. I do want to note, as a part of the question was directed to SoCal Gas, we do have representatives listening into the meeting today for any follow-up in the future. So anyone from the state agencies? Go ahead, Rachel.
Hi, Vianney. Thank you. I changed locations to hopefully improve my internet bandwidth. I really appreciate the mayor's and the council members' comments. Thank you very much. And I'll just address a little bit with what I think are the theme of comments by the community experts as well. First off, as far as community engagement during one of our large cases, like a general rate case, I can absolutely take the point that as a state agency, we can always improve the public engagement that occurs during a large case like that. And we are constantly seeking to improve, to find ways to connect with community-based organizations, local governments, who don't necessarily know about a proceeding that's going on before a state agency, and invite them to participate. So I absolutely take that point. The other piece I'd like to say is that as far as the overall transition towards clean electricity, yes, we are at the commission thinking very hard about what the viability and the phasing and sequencing of gas infrastructure and decommissioning might mean during that broader transition. And the large rulemaking that I mentioned during my remarks, there is a coming phase within that proceeding in which some of those questions will exactly be brought to stakeholders and debated and addressed. As I mentioned, we always have to consider cost and reliability while decommissioning and undergoing a broad transition such as this. But we are considering that, and I'm nearly positive that Mr. Vespa is part of that, is a representative within that large proceeding. And then last to the mayor's and council members' questions about an EIR. We started with the letters to the company seeking their analysis. As I said, when the commission undertakes to approve an overall investment package, that means that it has approved funding for a given project, but the follow-on steps are the responsibility of the company. And so that was the point of the letters that we wrote and transmitted, directing the company to provide their analysis of other sites and alternative engineering for the project, as well as to provide the community a much more in-depth look at that analysis. That's our starting point right now, and we are definitely committed to continuing conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Okay, next up we have Council Member Jeannette Sanchez Palacios.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity just to address and say a few words. I echo the sentiments of thanks for Senator Limon and Assemblymember Bennett's offices for bringing this town hall together and for allowing the community to get some answers, hopefully, regarding their concerns. I think for me, and Ms. Peterson touched on it a bit in regards to decommissioning this site, I was just wondering, like, how long is that process? What would that process look like? I know you touched on that a little bit. And during that process, is there a public or community input as it goes along? I think we all are just curious about the possibility or the reality of that site being decommissioned. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Rachel.
Yes, thank you, Vianney. Thank you, Council Member. So, to be very honest, I would need to kind of take that question back, Council Member. The overall trajectory for transition to clean electricity is a statewide effort, and of course, there's natural gas and electric infrastructure present in communities and rural areas statewide. And so it's a pretty large effort to think about the question of how does infrastructure transition. And so unfortunately, I can't give you a specific timeline today about this specific piece of infrastructure, but it's something I'll take back and discuss internally with the team. And then as to your question for public engagement, like I said, we do strive to make sure that communities know about the regulatory work that the commission does. And so we would absolutely I know the commissioners themselves would absolutely be committed to making sure that there is plenty of opportunity for community engagement in a process like that. And then to go back to the more immediate next steps, that is exactly why we directed SoCalGas to hold a community forum sometime in the next few months about their analysis.
Thank you, Rachel. Next up, we have Denise Wise, CEO, Executive Director of the Ventura Housing Authority.
Good morning. And can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, okay, thank you. Good morning, and I want to thank Assemblymember Bennett and Senator Limon for the opportunity and all the community groups that have rallied toward today's meeting. As mentioned, my name is Denise Wise, and I'm the CEO for the Housing Authority of Ventura. So why is the Housing Authority interested in participating in the community rally and strongly supports its message, not only about environmental justice, but also recognizes the tone deafness of a major utility company set on expanding at the detriment of the residents in its community? We have just completed 131 new unit development in the major renovation of the oldest public housing site in the city of Ventura. It is adjacent to the compressor plant. The 131 units represents over 500 residents, of which 30% or 200 are between the ages of 0 and 18. There will be an additional 155 units added over the next 3 years, of which 50 will be seniors. This is an affordable housing development. Most residents are at 60% or below of area median income. This is not only about environmental justice for us, it's about equity, inclusion, and public health. And I am stymied at the continued disingenuous and lack of transparency on the part of the gas company and the CPUC toward our community. When a major utility and its oversight body continue with its expansion plans that do not take into consideration the growth and the development of a community over the last 40 years of its operation, this is a clear indication to me of using its state oversight without any truthful interest to the impact to the community. California has numerous climate mandated initiatives. One is to reduce natural gas use for home heating and hot water as part of the effort to lower emissions. So why the need for expansion? Given the climate mandates, why aren't we looking at reduction? Why the lack of transparency until forced by the community? Our residents not only deserve a decent and safe place to call home, but they also deserve the air they breathe. The quality of the air they breathe in the community they live in is free from environmental threats. We are joining our community members and elected leaders to protect our community from SoCalGas's proposed expansion of a natural gas compressor site. Thank you for the opportunity to comment.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you for your comments. Next up, we have Dr. Cesar Morales, Superintendent of the Ventura County Office of Education. Dr. Morales.
Hello. Yes, I want to thank Assembly Member Bennett and Senator Lamone's office for putting this town hall together, as well as all the agencies participating in informing and starting this dialogue with the community. The residents of the city of Ventura, as well as the entire school community of the Ventura Unified School District, deserve the best optimal outcome. I'm not an advocate of performing at minimum standard, so I don't think it'll be sufficient to continue to operate on this facility, even though there's metrics that indicate that they meet minimum standard. I would like the agencies to really invest the time and research to move, not only close this site, but to move it to an alternative site that is not adjacent to a school, as well as a residential community, not only for the sake of the community of Ventura, but perhaps a greater initiative to do so throughout the state of California. At a time when the demand will lessen over the years, I think it's an opportunity to be very innovative and do something spirited that benefits all communities, starting with Ventura. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Morales. And I will go ahead and read the next 5 speakers. And while those speakers prepare, I will also transition to some of the questions that have been posted in the Q&A box. So the upcoming 5 speakers are Board President Velma Lomax, Board Member Sabrina Rodriguez, Liz Campos, Margot Davis, and Jorge Rio. So as the speakers prepare, let me pull up the questions that have been posted in the Q&A box. And I will direct these to the agencies if you can help answer these questions. The first question here is from John Brooks. Do you listen to the community experts on the need for an EIR? Assemblymember Bennett and Senator Limon, what can you do to make this happen? Rachel, did you want to go ahead and answer in terms of the EIR? How can this process be initiated? Why is the EIR not a part of this process?
Yeah, I actually came on VNA to ask if you wanted me to answer. So I'm happy to start and then turn it to the assembly member. So with the general rate case decision, like I said, it's an overall funding package. And when the commission approves the funding package, that is consistent with the California Environmental Quality Act. And there is no decision right now in front of the commission that would trigger the need for an environmental impact report. That is because of the way the structure works presently under our consideration of the general rate case.
This is Steve Bennett, and I could hear, I just stepped away from the screen for a moment for a quick restroom break, and I heard my name, but I didn't hear the question, but I suspect the question was about the EIR. Could you repeat it for me, please, Vianney?
Yeah, so the question from John Brooks is in terms of the need for an EIR, what can you and Senator Limon as legislators do to make this happen?
Well, as you just heard from Rachel, the current procedure doesn't necessarily call for that. So one of the things that we can do is investigate that whole, the whole process for how to, just because something is in a rate review doesn't mean it should or should not be handled by CEQA. So the idea that a rate review should be viewed something separately. So I'm going to ask Rachel, part of this public presentation by the gas company that you are now requiring, I assume would identify some information, and then If that information seemed to indicate there was a need for an EIR, would the CPUC be the ones to receive that and make a decision, or would there have to be some separate legal request for an EIR?
Assembly member, I want to be very careful about answering a question that attorneys might feel better prepared to answer. So I would just want to be very careful and just answer you by saying that we would be in close discussion, especially with our colleagues from the other agencies who've been present here today, as well as the representatives from the city of Ventura. I wouldn't feel comfortable giving you any more specifics than that.
Sure,
for
I
fear of
understand
making a misstatement.
I understand that. And so to Mr. Brooks, at least my response, and I see Senator Limon on next, and she could certainly follow up, but it's a legitimate question. How does that happen, with a case like this? And so it's something we'll certainly be investigating on behalf of the community. Senator Limon, did you jump on?
Yes. Thank you, Assemblymember Bennett, and thank you, Ms. Peterson. And so from my perspective, I just want the community to know a little bit about how this legislative process interacts with this. This particular project does not require an EIR. We have not found anywhere that this is a requirement. So our approach has been to gather the agencies to see if we can get something that provides the information equivalent to an EIR. I know some of you feel that without an EIR, we're not going to get the information. What we would need to do as state legislators is go back and write a law that would require it. However, trying to do something retroactively is nearly impossible in the legislature. This is not a little piece, including the process to start to write some kind of a law would not start until January 2022. This is why Assemblymember Bennett and myself have been very active in trying to get the groups together so that we could find a way to get the information we need, given the timelines and the delay that going through a process like this would potentially cause. I think we want to be very transparent and very direct in why this approach has been taken. And really it has to do with the fact that there would be a much more delayed approach if we were not able to gather this information. It is our hope to get the information that the community is requesting through these conversations. And I think that you have seen at least some, willingness to try to explore how we get that information, but certainly we want the community to know that we are looking at this process and also weighing out the legislative process and the timelines for that to be able to do something like this. But when all is said and done, this would be retroactive, which makes this a much more difficult type of conversation to have through the legislative process. I do want to acknowledge that the conversations are not just happening with our state agencies, but with SoCalGas as well. The other piece that I want to address is why not just, there's the EIR ask and why not just move it, right? The location. I am not clear that the places that have been recommended to move are in possession of SoCalGas. And so there's a lot of elements here that we are trying to do by gathering the institutions, by bringing together the folks to see if there's a way to do this that would actually be a much faster way to do it as opposed to the legislative. It doesn't mean that Assemblymember and I are not working together and exploring all options. This meeting, this hearing, this conversation is very important to both Assemblymember Bennett and myself in terms of trying to identify how we can best move forward given the community's concerns.
Thank you. Thank you all for answering that question. Next up is a question from Liz Veal with Seafrog. Includes a comment that reads, the CPUC's own Environmental Social Justice Action Plan asks to increase investment in clean energy resources to benefit environmental social justice communities, to improve local air quality and public health, and increase climate resiliency in ESG communities. How is the blanket approval of the Ventura Compressor Station in the general rate case compatible with these goals? Does the CPUC acknowledge that this facility's history and its location in a low-income Latinx community is a form of environmental racism?
Thank you, Vianney, for the question. And thank you, Senator, for your statement just now about the way that we're all trying to approach this issue. And that is really part of the intention behind the 2 letters that I've sent from my office of trying to move an analysis and transparency forward. And so to the question, it is correct that the commission adopted a policy a few years ago, along with an action plan specifically to constantly examine and address environmental and social justice within all of our different programs. We have very wide-ranging regulatory responsibilities, as I'm sure many of you know on this meeting, and we do have a commitment to examine that in all aspects of our work. So I think that the Senator had just answered the question about an EIR. And then the one thing I'll note is that as our colleague from the Air Pollution Control District noted, part of the upgrade for this project would actually improve the emissions control. So that would be, not to say I'm not speaking on behalf of the project or the change, but of note, the proposed upgrade would improve the emissions by reducing the emissions overall from the project.
Great, thank you, Rachel. So we will go back to some of the speakers that we have lined up, and then we'll return to the Q&A box after the next 5 speakers. So next up, we have Ventura Unified School Board President Velma Lomax. Ms. Lomax, please go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes, go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. I just have a couple of comments. First of all, the public needs to know that from the time we heard about this issue, we have been on it with letters and phone calls and meetings and behind doors because of possible potential litigation. It did appear to the public at a time that we were not doing anything, but the school board can only handle things a certain way. One of my biggest questions is, how did we not have these meetings and this type of a forum prior to them being given their permit? Because it seems to me that while we're discussing and asking and pleading with them, they're continuing with the plan. And I think this is dangerous. Our own Education Service Center office is just down the way from there and recently had to be evacuated in the afternoon because of a small leak. And luckily we had no students in school at that time, but the poor residents in that area. I just think that somehow this got backwards. I think that we should have had a bigger voice in the beginning. I think that now the question that I have for all of you, and Rachel Peterson, you I think you said you were asking to stop further planning. What about stop further work until we determine how dangerous this truly is to our residents and our schools? Thank you.
Rachel, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, presently planning and procurement work are the only things going on. And my letter from yesterday directs the company to stop planning and procurement. I can't speak to soil remediation or other work that might be going on. So from my perspective, work means the compressor station project.
Thank you, Rachel. If there is no other addition to that question, we will go on to the next speaker, School Board Member Sabrina Rodriguez.
Good morning, Ms. Lopez. This is Superintendent Rice. Sabrina and I are sitting here together, and you had previously announced me, and she asked that I speak now. Would that be okay?
Yes, please go ahead. I had you next, so yeah, go ahead.
Thank you so much. First, let me thank Assemblymember Bennett and Senator Limon and their entire staff for helping to set up today. We certainly appreciate the role you play as conveners of the community, and we're extremely appreciative that you're willing to continue to do that. I also want to thank the members of the PUC, the DTSC, for taking the time to participate today and listen to the community. I think you're hearing a community that is feeling angry, frustrated, disenfranchised, and even afraid at times. My main goal today is to reiterate the Ventura Unified School District's deep-seated concerns for the safety of our students and staff as laid out in a resolution our board passed on June 8th, 2021, following the passing of a similar resolution passed by the city of Ventura. Since learning of the proposed project, VUSD has worked to educate ourselves and our community by engaging with SoCalGas, DTSC, PUC, the city of Ventura, CFROG, Assemblymember Bennett, Senator Limon, local community groups, and even the district attorney's office. We have written numerous letters urging SoCalGas and their oversight agencies to slow down, keep us informed, and work collaboratively to find a resolution to this issue. We have been following correspondence between PUC and SoCalGas very closely, and just yesterday I received a response to a letter that I wrote to SoCalGas in which I requested very directly that they find a way to relocate the facility. And I want to take a minute to thank Ms. Peterson and the PUC for asking SoCalGas to explore relocating the facility. While we appreciate this development, I'm equally hopeful that PUC will continue to hold SoCalGas accountable for more fully exploring relocating options, even when such options seem inconvenient, expensive, or time-consuming. Those should not be the primary considerations. Finally, I'm hopeful that SoCalGas will begin to work more collaboratively and transparently with the district and the community to live up to what they put in writing recently in response to your question number 4, which asked about relocating the facility. And I quote from SoCalGas, "We have not conducted a comprehensive environmental and operational analysis or associated studies regarding relocating the Ventura compressor station. Any potential relocation would require detailed engineering and environmental analysis. However, as noted above, SoCalGas is committed to conducting additional review and will continue to evaluate alternative sites and compressor stations." We hold SoCalGas and the PUC to those commitments. Lastly, I'd like to say that if I went on Google Earth yesterday to do a few measurements, and I'm not an expert on if an accident happens, what the perimeter of effect might be, but that the compressors are located almost exactly 150 yards from the nearest home, 160 yards from the nearest playground, 360 yards from the district office, and by the way, my office, 600 yards to this middle school where we're having the event today, and not 3/4 of a mile, roughly 1,300 yards to Sheridan Way. From my perspective, relocating the facility is the only acceptable resolution, and it's the right thing to do for our community. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I'll turn it over to Trustee Rodriguez.
Thank you, Dr. Rice.
Hi, thank you for allowing us to do that. I thought it was important that Dr. Rice have an opportunity to speak. And thank you, Assemblymember Bennett and Senator Limon for organizing this meeting. We truly appreciate the opportunity to have this conversation. As you know, I'm elected to advocate for our community's children and to support our educators. I take that job very seriously, and I know you take your jobs as representing our community seriously as well, and I thank you for that. You know, Ms. Peterson said that the follow-up steps are the responsibility of the applicant. And I think the problem that we're having here is that SoCalGas has not been a good neighbor to us. They have not been forthcoming of information. Every effort that we have made has been slow walked through the process, and it hasn't made the community or the school district feel like we're important partners in this activity. So your efforts have made a big difference. I strongly believe that our children deserve to not only feel safe, but to be safe. And in order to be safe at school, they should not be directly across the street from a gas compressor station. This past summer, we had an opportunity to meet by phone with some of the representatives of SoCalGas, and I asked them, could you give us an example of another compressor station that has successfully and safely been modernized that is within such close proximity to a community? And their answer was, we can't, it doesn't exist, it would never be allowed. And as far as I'm concerned, this community deserves the same level of safety that is being provided currently to communities around our state. There's nothing different or lesser because this is the community of Ventura. We deserve exactly what communities around this state enjoy in terms of the level of safety. So instead of continuing to invest what I would consider good money after bad, let's do the smart long-term thinking thing and invest this modernization money in moving this facility to a place where it can safely remain until the demand for natural gas in our state continues to decline to a level where it's not needed. But leaving it here and doubling down on this investment, in my opinion, is not the right move for our community, and it's not the right move for our state. My questions are very short. What's the hurry? Why do we need to rush this through? We have children returning to our schools next week, and they deserve to be in an environment that is safe and pollution-free. And why would we consider giving SoCalGas a pass on CEQA and the EIR that we know this community not only expects, but deserves? And thank you again for your commitment. I really appreciate you both and your advocacy for our communities.
And I would just like to make a quick comment here, if I could. Number one, it was very helpful to hear from from Velma, Sabrina, and Dr. Rice. I appreciate that. I think it really helped encapsulate sort of the school's concern and the community's concerns there. Velma, you did ask the question about how does this happen? And I think you've heard Rachel explain that or not explain, but acknowledge that it is an issue that the CPUC probably needs to take a look at, which is that how do you involve local people in these requests for these capital improvement projects? And so it's an obvious hole that is out there. And one that I think is now on the radar screen to be looked at. And then in response to your question, Sabrina, I just would point out that at least we have the CPUC now halting, and I think that has significantly gotten the attention of Southern California Gas about moving forward until all of this other information gets out there. So hopefully there won't be a sense of rush that there was before. But I just want you, all three of you, to know how much I appreciate hearing from you today. That's exactly part of what we wanted to make sure we accomplished in this hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblymember Bennett. We will go on to the next. I will go ahead and repeat the next 5 speakers. Next up, we have Liz Campos, Margot Davis, Jorge Rio, Carrie Aist, Yavia Davalos, and Zoom username. The number is 563208. Liz, go ahead.
Thank you, elected officials, for putting on this meeting for us. I want to mention, I'm Liz Campos from the West Side Community Council. Many members have texted me during this meeting. Everybody who registered is given the video. West Ventura needs a break. We need to be ensured that our water is not damaged by the failure to properly clean up toxic soil at this site. We've been the dumping ground of Southern California gas for a century. A long time ago, it wasn't environmental racism. It was pure and simple racism. This compressor station needs to move away from West Ventura. The next step that must be conducted in this process is conducting an environmental impact report. I would like to know how many of you, agencies, elected officials, or anyone on this call, how often or how recently you went to Governor Newsom and demanded he do an order for an environmental impact report for this neighborhood. We're not a dumping ground and we're not expendable. The residents of West Ventura have tried very hard to reach out to the PUC, to our elected officials, and to everyone. Had we been told about this years ago, it would already have been removed because we are not going away. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz, for your comments. Next up is Margot Davis.
It's right here.
I can't see. Can we leave where there's a light? Margot Davis, West Side Clean Air Coalition. I have 3 questions. First question, is there anybody who can state one good reason, any expert, scientist, engineer, any politician, any local business owner, worker, parent, or is there even an agency that will name one valid reason why this high pressure gas compressor station should be located where it is or expanded where it is? I answer that myself. The answer is no. Okay, the second question. Then why has our government been unresponsive? There are all these regulatory agencies, district offices, regional offices, city, county, state offices. They're staffed departments with environmental protection sounding names. And so far, not one has managed to stand and deliver any report on environmental impact. People who are faced long enough with unresponsive governmental bureaucracy, history shows they take matters in their own hands and they try to solve the problem the best they can. Now, should we have to block this unreasonable, dangerous expansion in our neighborhood with our own bodies? Les pedimos a nuestros representatives, Bennett and Limon, nos representan. Reach out to Governor Newsom. Get us an EIR. Thank you.
Thank you, Margot. Next up, I do apologize. I missed a name here. We have Ryan Gellert from Patagonia. Ryan, if you're at this the laptop, please go ahead.
I think he's making his way down to the laptop. If we can go to the other in-person speaker, I think he's lined up right here.
Perfect. Jorge, please go ahead. Jorge Rio.
Hello, everybody. I'm a parent at EP Foster. My children go there. And as a parent, I am tired of so-called gas lack of transparency and sneaky practices. Just last month in July, there was a gas leak and we didn't know about it. And I live within half a mile from the compressor station. I didn't receive a letter or an email, nothing. For so many years, I wondered about why we had so many cases of asthma in our kids. And now I know why. So-called gas is killing our children. I'm sorry. So-called gas sees our community as expendable. We don't want the same thing to happen to Porter Ranch happen to us. We are tired of so-called gas corporate greed. We are tired of so-called gas maximizing their profits at the expense of our lives. It is time to move on and stop depending on fossil fuels. It is possible for all of us to have access to clean air. It can be done, and this pandemic just proved it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jorge. Ryan, is he ready? Otherwise, we will go next to Carrie Aist.
Yep, Ryan's right here. All right, good morning. I also want to join with many of the other speakers in thanking both Senator Limon and Assemblyman Bennett in organizing this event today. Also want to say how much I was inspired by so many of the voices that have come together this morning on a Saturday, and all of the people that are here physically in the gym in West Ventura, coming together and giving their time and using their voices to advocate for issues so critically important to their community. I represent 3,000 Patagonia employees around the world, and I think that on behalf of us all, the key points here have really been made very well this morning. Number one, this compressor station sits across the street from an elementary school within a half-mile radius of nearly 5,000 citizens and 1.5 miles from Patagonia's global headquarters. This compressor station has a history of leaks and contamination. I also understand that SoCalGas has decided to listen today to this meeting, but not to participate directly. And so as one business to another, I remind you that there is no right way to do the wrong thing. Patagonia stands in support with fellow Ventura community members in asking that SoCalGas relocate this gas compressor site. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Assemblymember Bennett, did you have a comment?
I think it is important for me to point out that SoCalGas was willing to participate, but the format of this was set up because they're going to have their own meetings later. They were willing, but they were not included by all the people that put this meeting together. So in fairness to them, I want to make sure that point is made.
Thank you, Assemblymember. Next up, we have Carrie Aist, followed by Yavia Davalos, followed by Eli Zarate, then Esmeralda Robles. Carrie, go ahead.
Good morning. Carrie Aist, she, her, speaking on unceded Chumash land. Recently, I spoke with a ranger in Kings Canyon about blue paint marks I saw in trees throughout the park. She told me millions of trees have been killed by native bark beetle populations, which have exploded due to the warming of the planet. We know that fossil fuels are causing that warming, and they aren't just causing the death of trees. They're significantly harming the health of people, children in schools and community members who live near extraction sites, and workers exposed day to day to toxic fumes. The good news is now that we know there is a problem, we can fix it. There was a hole in the ozone layer back in the 70s that caused massive human and planetary harm caused by accelerant chemicals in spray cans. Once people understood the problem, they joined together globally to demand that corporations cease the use of those chemicals. And wow, the chemicals were removed from use, the hole in the ozone closed, and the planet began to heal, all because people took collective action to fix a problem that corporate practices had caused. That is why we are here today. When we know better, we can take collective action to do better. We have clearly identified that the use of fossil fuels is harmful, and we, the people, are here to demand a solution so that people on the planet can heal. You, our political officials and agency representatives, must push for decisions and legislation and changes and processes that harmful practices that will force corporations like SoCalGas to change their harmful practices and make a just transition to new forms of energy production that are safe for the planet. Please help us heal the damage corporate practices have caused. We can change our ways before it's too late. And we can succeed at repairing that harm that we have caused if we all commit to work together. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. Next up, Yavia Davalos, followed by Eli Zarate.
Me gustaría saber si tienen un plan de emergencia
I would like to know if you have an emergency plan
por si se enfermaran los niños a causa de las fugas de
in
gas.
case the children get sick because of a gas leak.
Otra pregunta.
And I have another question.
Quisiera saber cuál es el motivo por el cual prefirieron
I would like to know why is it that you chose
poner nuestras vidas en peligro
to put our lives at risk
sin primero pedirnos permiso.
without first asking us permission.
Y última pregunta.
And my last question.
Me gustaría saber si tienen un fondo de ayuda para los damnificados en caso de una explosión.
I would like to know if you have a fund to aid the victims in case of an explosion.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Rachel, is that a question that you might be able to answer? Is this something that we might need to follow up on?
Thanks, Jeannette. I'll start with an answer. Let me make sure I got, because there are three. The first one was an emergency plan if children become sick, correct? The second was about location without information to the community, correct? And then the third was about a fund for in the event of harm. So I guess I feel like I can provide initial answers to the first and third questions. I think we've addressed the second question a few different times during today's discussion. As far as an emergency plan, we do require all utilities, and this runs from electric to gas to telecommunications to water utilities that we regulate, to maintain an emergency plan, which is about the very specific steps that they take in the first 24, 48, 72 hours and weeks following an emergency. The emergency that the participant described is a slower, it sounds to me like a slower moving one. And so what I'm describing are emergency plans, you know, following an earthquake or related to a wildfire. And that's partly why we have extensive protocols now around public safety power shutoffs, for example. But so an emergency plan in our consideration relates to those kind of events. If a longer term issue begins to arise and it's brought to our attention as a regulator of safe, reliable, affordable utility services, we would typically handle that through one of our formal proceedings before the commission, in which people and parties have the opportunity to provide input. And then as to the third question, if a disaster occurs, and I think California has very unfortunately and tragically witnessed this in several incidents in the last several years, we do undertake a formal proceeding. Ours is, our jurisdiction lies in assuring the safety of services in the sense of assuring that infrastructure and maintenance are handled well by utilities. If we find that imprudent management occurred, poor management, failures of management occurred, we do have penalty authority, and so we are able to devise penalty, sorry, the vocabulary is failing me now, but structures in which penalties can be paid to different customers who might have been harmed by a specific incident. And so it does require a formal proceeding. It does require the attention of an administrative law judge and the 5 commissioners, but we have issued penalties totaling in the millions over the last numerous years because of safety incidents in the gas, electric, utility arena.
Thank you, Rachel. And if anyone from DTSC or VCAPCD would like to add, please feel free to turn on your camera and we can direct you to help answer some of these questions. Next up, we have on Zoom, Eli Zarate, followed by Esmeralda Robles. Eli, go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Eli Zarate. I'm speaking today as a youth leader with CAUSE. I'm a Ventura Unified School District alumni, and I lived on the West Side for 17 years. I'm here today to say that we need you, Senator Limon, and Assemblymember Jeannette to push Governor Newsom to direct the Public Utilities Commission to conduct an environmental impact report before any other construction takes place at this compressor site. SoCalGas has a bad track record with gas leaks and can't be trusted to protect the health of our community. Local residents reported headaches, nausea, skin rashes, and severe nosebleeds. About 50 children per day saw school nurses for severe nosebleeds. About 11,296 people had to be temporarily relocated by SoCalGas. 2 schools were relocated, and it set us back dramatically on our climate goals. The site is within only a couple hundred feet of the school, EP Foster, which is more than close enough for them to inhale those toxic substances, putting their developing brains at risk. I attended EP Foster and would hate to be left knowing that the children attending are unconsciously being affected by the toxins in the air. And with its placement in mind, Ventura's West Side is over 70% Latino and already suffers from some of the highest levels of pollution. A project like this would never be approved in wealthier and more privileged communities. Governor Newsom needs to be a climate leader and pushes agencies to take action. The PUC needs his leadership to conduct a necessary environmental impact report. Thank you.
Thank you, Eli. I appreciate that correction. And thank you for your comment. So just want to mention, we do have a list about 45 speakers left. So I think what we're going to go ahead and do is have the speakers go through, and then if the agencies can take note of the questions that pertain to you, we'll provide some time at the end to answer those. We want to make sure to reach as many speakers here. So next up, we have Esmeralda Robles, followed by Isva Silva, located at the middle school, followed by Jolie Newton.
Good morning. My name is Esmeralda Robles, and I'm a youth leader with CAUSE in Ventura. I lived on West Simpson Street on the west side with my mom, dad, brother, and 2 sisters, and we've lived there since my oldest sibling was born. I'm here today with my community to stand up for our safety. As a kid, I attended Sheridan Way Elementary School and had no idea that my family and I had been living next to a compressor station that is prone to leaks that cause nosebleeds and headaches, as well as possible explosions. It makes me so disappointed and frustrated to hear that so many kids have, for decades, been exposed to the leaking chemicals and have innocently played at school with the risk of explosions being right next door. Approximately 500 people live within a quarter mile of the facility, but as many as 4,750 live within a half-mile radius, close enough to be impacted by a gas explosion, which is why they are usually built on large plots of land far away from communities, not across the street from elementary schools. After knowing all the risks of our health, I still don't understand how SoCalGas is trying to expand it. Are we not worthy of having a safe environment where our community shouldn't have to worry about our health being at risk? As youth, we are the future. We are the ones that are going to have to deal with climate change, so our voices should be heard. That's why we're asking Senator Limon and Assemblymember Bennett to push Governor Newsom to direct the PUC to conduct an environmental impact report before any other construction takes place at this compressor site. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Esmeralda. Next up, we have Isva Silva, followed by Jolie Newton, followed by Paul Aist.
Hi, my name is Isva Silva. I'm a mother of 2 children that attend EP Foster. Right now, I am so furious and disappointed with my city, my county, but especially my state leaders for ever having allowed this situation that we are right now to ever happen. I cannot believe that this elementary school, along with multiple homes, are so close to a so-called compression station that is so dangerous. While this station has been in this community for so many years, it is time for it to relocate. The station has been known to leak methane, not even that many times ago, just a month or two ago, they had a leak that was so substantial that I could smell it from my house and people had to be evacuated from their jobs. I send my kids to school to play outside so they can grow healthy and be smart. And instead, they're met with pollutants like methane, lead, arsenic, and other volatile components that cause asthma, cancer, and who knows what else. How many of you representatives would send your kids to EP Foster? How many of you would send your grandkids to this school knowing what you know today? SoCal Gas Company claims they have fixed previous leaks, and yet from time to time, they continue to lie to us and pretend that nothing is happening. Instead of expanding, SoCal Gas should be relocating their facilities to a safe location far away from families, away from the most vulnerable, our children. We need Governor Newsom and PUC to order an environmental impact report before SoCal moves forward with their plans. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Isba. Next up, Jolie Newton, followed by Paul Aist.
Hi, I'm Jolie Newton. I'm an educator and a parent and a community member and resident in Ventura. I wish to thank everyone for participating in this discussion, for our governmental leaders and for all of the agencies participating, and also for SoCal Gas for being willing to have dialogue around this issue. I wish to thank you for all of your service. All of our aims are so that all of us can thrive, so that our children can be healthy, our communities can thrive, there's jobs, our economy can do well so that we can all have a better future. This issue and this project is an invitation and opportunity for us to create innovative and better ways to help provide for our children and our communities. As we can see from the data, that there are health implications as well as the environmental implications are causing harm to our community and the children who are our future. I urge all of us to partner together so that we can come together with strategies to help all of us thrive, for there to be jobs for those that would be put out of work by the ending of projects that are happening tied to fossil fuels, as well as to help create better ways for us as a society to continue to take care of our planet and help our children create a better future for all. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jolie. Paul Aist is next up, followed by Jalisa Fernandez, followed by R. Pacheco.
Hello, my name is Paul Aist. I'm a resident of Ventura. My understanding that this is the only SoCal gas compressor station in such an urban setting. It's obvious that the site has outlived its usefulness in the community as it's grown up around it in the last 100 years. The map that was shown earlier of the area shows the school out on Ventura Avenue, when in reality, the school extends to right across the street from the compressor site. While an EIR is not required or hasn't been required, does that mean that it's prevented? It sure sounds like the community, the city would feel that the ERI should be done for such a site. I can't imagine any other kind of construction site, any other construction expansion in the city wouldn't require an EIR. I do have a question. Recently, it was disclosed that there were 8 unscheduled ventings in the last 4 years. The last, which was the smallest, happened just this summer, just before on July 2nd, I believe. The previous 7 were all roughly 10 times larger. I'm not familiar with the units used to measure the leak. Can anyone speak to the volume of the leak, the health consequences, how the gas is vented, whether it's underground at surface level or up in a stack? I'm just not familiar with how this is done, and I haven't heard anyone explain what happens when there is such venting. Anyway, thank you very much. I hope that we are able to get an EIR done for this site.
Thank you, Paul. Next up, we have James Forsyth. Before we transition back to the Zoom speakers. So James.
Hi, how you doing? I appreciate you letting me go first. I have a 3-year-old that needs to take a nap, so I think Monique knows all about that. But again, my name is James Forsyth. I'm a teacher and resident here on the Avenue. Actually, my classroom is on this campus. I'm also a WCC board member. So I'm happy about the CPUC decision, but however, it doesn't go far enough in my opinion. And the reason why, as a parent and an educator, I'm very worried about the site in general. I'm worried about its environmental impact and its impact on our students and our families. Since it's increasing in size, it's going to be increasing the blast zone, which will affect more of the avenue if this fails. And these things fail. If you go on Google right now and you Google compressor gas station explosions, you will see a lot of them. And that's the issue here. It's going to cause a huge environmental disaster. Not only that, it's going to take out our school of elementary school students, and it's also going to take out half our neighborhood. So I'm really calling upon our government representatives. I was going to ask for an EIR, but that kind of sounds like that's out of the question. But I hope that this site gets moved. And I call on our representatives to please encourage that, to call on our governor, to call on SoCal Gas to move this site, to use that money to take it out of our neighborhood. Our neighborhood has been neglected, hasn't been listened to for so many years. And now I'm so heartfelt and so happy to see that our community is really coming together to really push for this gas station, gas compressor to be moved out of our neighborhood. So just once again, I really appreciate it. I appreciate you all letting me cut in line. And I appreciate Assemblymember Bennett and Senator Limon for being here. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, James. And the previous speaker did have a question about the venting and the gas leaks. Ali Gazemi, would you be able to answer that question very briefly at this time?
I won't be able to, but maybe Keith Messias. Keith, would you be able to answer that question right now, or would you like to refer it to Sid later on? Keith, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just turning everything on. I could probably answer just in general, but probably better question. And then also Zach's online, so he may be able to provide some additional response. He's our inspector for this site and deals with some of the ongoing compliance. Yeah, this is for the venting events that occurred, correct? Yeah, we have a number of oil sites around the county. They can vent in emergency situations. Most sites typically have a flare to burn off any excess. These are the oil field sites. This particular site, in terms of the amount vented, not necessarily, I'm not an expert, but I think as mentioned earlier, they typically report to us any planned events that occur. However, sometimes there's unplanned events that may occur and where they need to vent. Usually, for instance, a maintenance, as an example, a maintenance needs to be done. Maybe a valve or something needs to be replaced or updated. And sometimes when this happens, there's unplanned events that occur, which can occur with, which venting can occur. And Southern California Gas did provide us a list of these unplanned events. As mentioned earlier, there were 8 of them, 2 in 2021. The last one on July 2nd was was 5.4 million square cubic feet, and which is generally considered pretty small. However, any event, as you know, anytime, again, Southern California Gas probably would be probably better to answer the question, but any gas event that has, odor to it. So typically it's designed so you can smell anytime a gas comes out and it's leaked. So to ensure that, if there's an issue, that it gets fixed and remediated. But generally speaking, the 5.4 was a pretty small event. The other ones they all ranged between 46 to, actually between 35 to 56.8 million square cubic feet. And those aren't necessarily would probably not be considered large events, but not necessarily a small event either. More specifically, Southern California Gas did provide this information, and they did respond to it, and they did note that these events under the Code of Federal Regulations, they're not considered an incident, so they weren't essentially large enough to be considered an incident. That's pretty much. I'm just trying to give you some general information. I don't want to be either misquoted either, but this is information that was provided by the Southern California Gas Company.
Great, thank you, Keith. Appreciate you answering that question, and certainly if there's other information, we can provide that after the meeting. So we'll go back to the speakers. So next up we have Jalisa Fernandez, followed by R. Pacheco, followed by Alexandra, and I apologize with your last name, Naji. So next up, Jalisa, please go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Jalisa Fernandez, and I am a youth leader with CAUSE. I live on Flint Street on the west side with my mom, dad, and 2 brothers, one older and one younger than me. And we've been living here we've been living here for my whole life, and I am here today with my community to stand up for our health and younger siblings and children. As a kid, I attended EP Foster and Data Middle School, and I had no idea that me and my family had been living next to a compressor station that is prone to leaks that cause nosebleeds and headaches, as well as possible explosions. As a kid, I would love going outside. And as right now with my little brother, he loves being outdoors. And him being outdoors is not at all safe for him or any kids playing outside. It makes me enraged to hear that so many kids have for decades been exposed to the leaking chemicals and have innocently played at school with the risk of explosions being right next door. The so-called compressor is dangerous and very toxic. Studies show that soil surrounding the compressor station contains toxic chemicals and cancer-causing chemicals like lead, denso, and etc. After knowing all the risks to our health, I still don't understand how SoCal Gas is trying to expand it. Are we not worthy of having good health? As a youth, we are the future, and we are the ones that are going to have to deal with climate change. So our voices should be heard. That's why we're asking Senator Limon and Assembly Member Bennett to push Governor Newsom to direct the PUC to contact the environmental impact report before any other construction takes place at this compressor site. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jalisa. Next up, R. Pacheco, followed by Alexandra, followed by David Swaffin, followed by Miguel Rodriguez. R. Pacheco, go ahead.
Thank you, Assemblymember Bennett and Senator Limon and staff for organizing this today. Thank you to Westside Clean Air, Earth Justice, And thank you to the Westside residents for speaking up today and sharing your stories. I really appreciate it. My name is Reese Pacheco. I am a Ventura resident, and I'd like to make sure that we remember the broader context here. For decades, the oil and gas industry has put human health, specifically underserved communities, at great risk, directly through pollution affecting our air quality, and more broadly by creating the climate crisis in which we now exist. As a result, we are facing a record drought. We are fighting fires everywhere, it seems, rising seas, increasing heat waves, and more. In short, human lives are in jeopardy. Meanwhile, the fossil fuel industry has known the impacts of their operations all along, and yet they have actively lied and spread disinformation about the negative externalities of their work. The United Nations report last week made it extremely clear that we must stop burning fossil fuels as soon as possible to have a chance of a livable future. So why then are we even considering the expansion of this project across the street from a school at the risk of the health of the local community when the oil and gas industry has repeatedly demonstrated that they do not deserve a social license to operate? Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Alexandra, followed by David Swaffin.
Hi there, I'll cede my time. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexandra. David, please go ahead.
Oops. Hi, my name is David Swaffer. I first want to thank everybody. Too far away? Okay, sorry. I'm a little tall. I want to thank everybody that's listening. I want to thank all of our current leaders. I was born and raised in Ventura, and this is slowly becoming the tale of two Venturas. I was raised on the other side of Ventura. I've currently lived on the west side of Ventura for about the last 20 years. Had this been brought to anybody's attention when the original issue was raised, I don't believe we'd be sitting here today. I believe that this is another case of keep it quiet, trust that the people that are out there aren't smart enough or aren't engaged enough to understand what's going on. I think that it's time for everybody to take responsibility. I think that most importantly, Gavin Newsom, our current governor, needs to immediately stop any progress on this, stop work at this site completely. Where I live, the dust blows on my house. I wash my car, I have to rinse my car off, dust my car off at least 3 times a week. There's an incredible amount of dust generated in this small valley that we live in. It's overpolluted completely. And to find out that we have a gas plant that supposedly we rely on, which we don't, because the gas actually goes somewhere else other than our residents, is just completely insulting. It's insulting to everybody here. The pandemic was a continuation for me. The Thomas Fire showed me that this area can take care of itself. The people here band together and they get what they want and they get what they need to happen. And it's time for us to protect them. It's time for us to say, honestly, we don't need Southern California gas right across the street from an elementary school, and we don't need them on the west side. We don't really even need them in Ventura. Thank you for your time, and I hope that this goes in the right direction. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, David. Next up, we have Miguel Rodriguez, followed by Lisa Walker, followed by Carolyn Pareja. And I do want to note that we have about 15 minutes left of this community meeting. I do understand that there's a number of people who have yet gotten the opportunity to speak. So if you're not able to provide your comments today, you are welcome to reach out to our offices and submit your questions or comments through us. Miguel, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much for this opportunity. I have been a community organizer here in the West Side for the last 10 years, on and off, and it seems like every time that we have to organize, it's around an issue that's even worse than the one before. We started organizing around kids getting truancies due to lack of bus access, and that was 10 years ago, and then we found out that there wasn't a park, and then that turned into a civil rights issue around equitable access to parks and open space. And now this, and being here at this school where I used to run a program with youth And knowing that there's a pipeline that goes through here and coming through here on a daily basis, wondering if we were going to be the next San Bruno, made me realize that this issue is very important, not just because we have a responsibility as people that are involved, but because our fellow neighbors are being affected by this potential threat of an explosion. I remember hearing about San Bruno, and it broke my heart when I went through to see it. And I remember knowing just how scared I was during the Thomas fire, knowing that there wasn't an actual escape route that was available to my nieces and my nephews, to the point that we actually were organizing through our neighbors to try to get everybody out. So the reality here is that we have a lot of responsibility, but the gas company and all these other folks have a greater responsibility. And when they try to bury these plants, they don't realize that we are seeds. And when they try to bury us, we grow. So thank you. Thank you. Now I'll translate for Caroline.
Hi, my name is Lisa Walker, and I'm a resident of West Ventura, and I vehemently oppose the gas compressor project across the school, in our community, in California, and frankly, anywhere at all. To be honest, I can't believe we're even debating an EIR. It should go without saying that projects of this nature should require a comprehensive report on how this impacts our environment. However, I would go even further to say that given everything we already know about this project and similar ones of the past, we should shut it down completely, especially with alternative clean energy options that are now more widely available. Our planet is facing a climate crisis of epic proportions, and we know that those who will suffer from it the most are underserved communities. That makes this project both dangerous and unethical. I ask those in favor of this project, would you approve this compressor station across the schools of your children? Do you not believe we're in a climate crisis? How do you sleep at night knowing you're pillaging the planet of finite resources and doing so at the expense of our most vulnerable populations? I'm reminded of a Native American proverb, the original people of this land, who rightly knew we do not inherit the land from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children. You may not care about the children of West Ventura, so how about your own? Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Caroline, please go ahead.
Buenos días, mi nombre es Caroline Pareja.
Good afternoon, I'm Caroline Pareja.
Vivo en la comunidad de Ventura
I live in the Ventura community
con mis 3 hijos y mi esposo
with my 3 children and my husband
que asisten a las escuelas del distrito escolar de Ventura.
that attend schools from Ventura Unified School District.
Es anecdótico pensar que ustedes me dan todos estos papeles, cartas que han sido enviadas a ustedes.
It's interesting to see that. It's also anecdotal to see that I've been getting all these letters sent by all of you.
Muchas de ellas
Many of them
dicen que
say
están dañando a una pequeña
that
cantidad de
there's
la
a
comunidad.
minimal amount of damage being done to the community.
Eso no es cierto.
That is not true.
Mi esposo y yo nos encargamos
My husband and I are in charge
de dar vida porque
of giving life
trabajamos en la tierra
because we
poniendo
work in
plantas
landscaping, planting plants,
y ustedes
and you
están matando nuestro oxígeno.
are killing our oxygen.
Mis hijos
My children
se merecen crecer
deserve to grow
en un lugar sano, en un
in
ambiente
a safe
sano.
place, in a safe environment.
Hoy
Today,
estamos aquí
we are here
no para que nos digan qué van a hacer.
not for you to tell us what you're going to do.
Queremos verlo
We want to see it
porque nosotros
because we
somos las personas que estamos
are the
sufriendo
people that
esto.
are suffering this.
Les agradezco
I thank you
de antemano
beforehand
todo lo que están o van a hacer
all
por
that
nosotros.
you are doing for us and that you will do for us.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Gracias, Carolina, and thank you, Miguel. Next up, we have Jared Bob, followed by Kristen N, followed by John Ullman. Jared, are you on? Okay, we'll go ahead to Kristen N, and if Jared joins us, we'll bring you back. Kristen?
Jared is here now.
Thank you. Go ahead, Jared.
Okay, so for many years, our communities have been promised low impact infrastructure development, natural resource extraction. From the Aliso Canyon gas facility, Standing Rock, the Berkeley pit, the list goes on. There are always promises of safe extraction of our Earth's materials. As a local resident of the West Side community, I would like to request a full environmental impact report and funding for substantial community education relating to the project's impacts paid through the developer, with the goal of a fully educated community relating to this project before any permit plan or work commences. I know some folks here have offered the compromise of relocation, but I'm of the opinion of shutting it down completely. Fossil fuel extraction is not in alignment with our future environmental goals as a community, state, country, or planet. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Jared. Next up, we have Kristen N, followed by John Ullman.
You can go to, or what was the next speaker?
John Ullman on Zoom. Oh, I'm sorry, it was Kristen. Kristen?
Oh yeah, Christian, here he is.
Hello, my name is Christian. I'm here with Cause, and like many here today who have spoken about the SoCal gas compressor and the expansion plans in place, I'm here to express my concerns about this project and why it's important for Senator Bennett, Senator Limon, Assemblymember Bennett, and agency staff to stand with the community and shut this project down. What I find disheartening about my community's current situation is the long-lasting damage that SoCal Gas has left on the west side of Ventura, and also the thought of its expansion, which would mean that our community will continue to suffer from toxic fumes and pollution for many more years to come. What's even worse is that this gas compressor is located right across from the street from an elementary school in which children are there to learn, grow, and ideally develop in a healthy environment, which is currently being challenged by the SoCal gas compressor by putting their health in risk. Currently, I've engaged in community canvassing here on the Avenue in order to inform our community about our local environmental issues. And I personally was surprised to know how many parents are unaware that their children are at risk, and how many of us who have lived here for years are also at risk. And all because our community was chosen to burden a gas compressor that was placed next to our homes, schools, and our predominantly working class community who haven't been made aware of these issues. I'm here to ask that the expansion of this gas compressor be stopped, and furthermore, even moved to a different location outside of vulnerable and neglected communities such as the one here on the Avenue. I have lived in this community for 20 plus years, and I hope to live here for many more in good health with my friends, family, and neighbors. Thank you for your time.
Great, thank you so much. And I do want to note, we will add about 10 minutes to allow a few more comments to go through. So we'll go next to John Ullman, followed by Leslie Purcell, followed by Joshua Medrano.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, my name is John Ullman. I live in Santa Barbara, and the city just passed an all-electric REACH code, which means that no new buildings will have natural gas. And also, City of San Luis Obispo passed a code as well. I think the issue here is that this is not a modernization project. It's an expansion project. And so really, I think SoCalGas is treading against the tide. Gas is being turned off, basically, as a future source. And they don't need to do this expansion. They're functioning quite well right now. I mean, there's nothing needed. I don't understand. When the school was built in 1930, there was a parade downtown Ventura Avenue with Masons who came from across Florida who helped build this. It is a phenomenal school. And to see it put under this risk at this time is remarkable. So what I'm here to tell you is that I think there should be an EIR as seen by the PUC letter from yesterday. When there is a will, there is a way. And these agencies do have discretion. And I would urge Senator Bennett, or I'm sorry, Assemblymember Bennett and Senator Limon to ask for an EIR. But I also believe that we should all vote no. Every single person on this call needs to vote no for the recall, because if Gavin Newsom is not reelected, there won't even be a possibility of an EIR. That thing will be passed so quickly, you can't even believe it. So anyway, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, John. Next up, we have Leslie Purcell, followed by Joshua Medrano, followed by Shayna Steiner. Leslie, please go ahead.
Hi, thank you. I would just like to say that under CEQA, there's a definition of a project which would be to, let's see, the whole of an action which has a potential for resulting in either a direct physical change in the environment or a reasonably foreseeable indirect physical change in the environment. That's the definition of a project, which would require CEQA review. So I think that here under that definition, we certainly would have something with foreseeable or direct or indirect physical changes to the environment, including these gases and potential explosions and so forth that people have been referencing. So under CEQA, I believe that there would actually be possibly two projects: the cleanup remediation of the pollution, which was addressed by the RAW referenced in the earlier presentation. That could be one project, but the expansion of the compressor station processing more gas is actually a real second project, or a project that would have direct changes to the environment. And I think that under CEQA, if we did a proper CEQA review, they would have to present alternative. And that could include alternative sites that would be far away from schools, residences, and the community. And that would be if it is in fact determined to be necessary to even expand the site, which, as people have been saying, with climate change and trying to shift away from fossil fuels, may not in fact be necessary. So I would just like to, again, thank everyone for having this, especially our representatives and all the folks in the audience that have been active, and also our CPUC representatives as well. And let's get a CEQA review. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. Next up, we have Joshua Medrano, followed by Shayna Steiner, followed by James Brem. Joshua, please go ahead.
Thank you so much. I want to thank the Senator and the Assemblyman for having this forum today. We appreciate all the leadership. As said, my name is Joshua Medrano. I am the Executive Secretary and Treasurer of the Tri-Counties Building and Construction Trades Council of San Luis Obispo, Santa Barbara, and Ventura Counties. representing collectively over 14,500 hardworking men and women who are also members of the community, such as the armed forces, multiple minority groups, as well as the LGBTQ community. We serve as a pathway for many of these underserved communities, such as the West Side right now, that is gravely affected by what's going on. The building trade stands in solidarity with all of you. We participated in the Kellogg Park meeting where we ended up introducing ourselves as the bridge between all entities. We want to remind the community that we serve that we too are here and we also hear you. We would like to remind everybody that's on this call, as well as our elected officials, that the apprenticeship programs that the building trades put on offer the skilled and trained labor, very heavily mitigated safety, that have been participating in the construction, maintenance, as well as further safety procedures needed to incorporate a transition to sustainable energy. We are part of the solution and are here in hopes that all the elected officials on call will hear the cries of the community, further mitigation, and continue on with the process to figure out how can we make a viable, sustainable solution for the whole community and not just serve one entity. We thank you for your time, and I will be putting my contact information in the chats and hope to continue these open discussions and be invited to sit at the table to represent the labor that is needed, no matter what direction this leadership goes. We hope that everybody out there stays safe, and we thank you for your time.
Thank you, Joshua. Next up, we have Shayna Steiner, followed by James Brem, followed by Steve Pinsky.
We're doing a switch of schedule since it's limited time. We're going to be doing a progressive stack with parents and also the principal of EP Foster. So they're just going to go one right after another here, so we can make sure their voices are heard.
Okay. Hi, my name is Elizabeth Lopez. I am a paraprofessional on severe special education for VUSD and a mother to children attending EP Foster. As my 3 children are starting school at EP Foster for 5th, 3rd, and incoming kindergartner in a couple of days, I am not so worried for back to school shopping, but instead worried about the air they will be breathing as they learn and play, and hoping for a gas pipe not to leak while I'm far away, or even possibly an explosion. The worst part, we probably won't be notified of leaks unless we see the obvious flames of fire. If this doesn't sound alarming to you, I don't know what does. It might be easy to put a gas plant around a community with minorities, hoping that we stay quiet. But as I'm sure many SoCal Gas employees are parents, their heartlessness surprises me. I'm not expert in geography or location, but I feel there are better, further, and more open locations for their proposed expansion and their continued goal of wealth, and not directly in front of an elementary school or a Boys and Girls Club where our children tend to daily. Ventura County cares about our children, and that's why we are here today. And we are speaking for them in hopes for a better future and change for not only their education, health, and our future children of our community. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pavel Escobedo Garcia. I am the principal at EP Foster Elementary School. And first of all, I just, again, want to thank all of our local and state representatives, our school district, for being able to put this together. This is something that the community has been asking for a long time now, and it is a huge deal that they have been listened to and that you have provided them with this forum. One of the things that I do want to highlight about our community here at the west end of Ventura is that there exists many misconceptions about the community. And one of them being that there's little engagement when it comes to community issues, and that can be further from the truth. I wish that all of you could be here with us today at the data gym to see just the number of people that came in to support this issue. As we are preparing for the beginning of the school year, we had the fortune of welcoming back our staff this week, and we are expecting to open our doors to about 400 children from the ages of 3 years old, because we do have a preschool program all the way to our 5th graders. Sometimes when we talk about people and children, there's some abstract component to it. But for us, every one of those smiling faces is very real. And these are issues that, as we prepare for the opening of the school year, in the midst of the COVID pandemic, in the midst of many hardships that have really hurt our community over the years, going back to the Thomas Fire and other conditions that our community has endured, this is one that there's more control to. So we really urge all of you in these positions of power to do what is right, and it is a very clear issue from this point. Our families, our community are here in support of each and every one of you, and all that we ask for is that, like you have been doing, that we are heard. Muchas gracias a todos los presentes, se les agradece el tiempo. Soy Pavel Escobedo García, el director de la primaria E.P. Foster. Comentaba la importancia de que se nos haya escuchado, de que este foro es algo que... Thank you. Solamente quiero recalcar, sé que se está traduciendo, pero quiero recalcar para nuestras familias de habla hispana la importancia de que sigan pidiendo este tipo de foros, porque como están viendo se les está escuchando. Un placer estar con ustedes y de nuevo gracias por su tiempo.
Nice of you to give the translators a little break.
Thank you. Tomas, we can let 2 more speakers go, and then we will need to wrap up if they can keep their comments brief. Thank you.
We have 2 speakers and they're both in Spanish, so they're going to need translation. So this is the, yeah.
Hola a todos, mi nombre es María Pérez y soy líder de causa en Ventura y residente de Ventura también.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Maria Perez, and I'm a resident in Ventura and leader of cause.
Estoy aquí para que escuchen y tomen en cuenta nuestras preocupaciones.
I'm here so you can hear and take into account our concerns.
Yo tengo 25 años viviendo aquí con mi familia.
I've lived here for 25 years with my family.
Y estoy preocupada por la expansión de la compresora de gas.
And I'm really worried about this expansion of the compressing station.
Y mi pregunta para ustedes es,
and my question for you is,
la senadora Limón y el asambleísta Burnett, ¿qué harán para asegurarse de que el gobernador Newsom y la PUC realicen un EIR?
What are you, Senator Limon and Assemblyman Bennett, as well as Newsom governor, going to do, as well as the PUC, to make sure we have an EIR?
¿Les gustaría que su familia, sus hijos, sus nietos o sus amistades vivieran cerca de una planta de compresora de gas?
Would you like your children, your friends, your relatives to go to school or live near and such dangerous infrastructure?
Yo he perdido familiares, amigos por causa de cáncer y estamos viviendo en una bomba de tiempo.
I've lost family, relatives, friends because of cancer, and this is just a matter of time for the bomb to explode.
La compresora de gas tiene el dinero para moverse. Nosotros los residentes no lo tenemos.
The gas compression has the money to relocate. We, the residents, do not have it.
Gracias por su atención, porque sé que la compresora se moverá.
Thank you for your time and attention, because I know it will move, relocate.
Buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Norma Ramírez. He vivido en el condado de Ventura por 34 años.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Norma Ramirez, and I've lived in Ventura County for 34 years.
He vivido aquí con mi familia, mis hijos, y estoy muy preocupada por la explosión de la compresora de gas.
I live here with my family, my children, and I'm very worried about the explosion of the compression.
Mi pregunta es para la señora Limón, el asambleísta Bennett. ¿Por qué?
My question is for Senator Limon and Assemblyman Bennett.
¿Por qué se hizo un ER para la sustitución de un compresor similar en Allison Canyon, pero no se ha hecho ninguno para este reemplazamiento?
Why was an EIR done for the compressor, a similar compressor in the canyon? It's a canyon, and we haven't had one done here.
Muchas gracias y espero se haga justicia para esta compresora.
Thank you, and I hope we have justice for this compression.
Great, thank you. Sorry, Assemblymember Bennett, I'll transition over to you. Just want to thank all the speakers. I do understand that there were a number of questions in the Q&A box, and we will be following up on that. So at this moment, Assemblymember Bennett, it's all yours.
Great. Hey, thank you very much, Vinay, for how you handled this. And I really want to thank all of the speakers that came today, both the community speakers and the state regulators that spoke. Very helpful for us. I was asked a question right at the very end, so I just want to quickly respond to that. And that is, technically at this point in time, this project didn't qualify for an EIR, but that is one of the things that is now more under consideration and stuff. So to help her to respond to that. But what I really want to emphasize to everybody, and I hope that a lot of the community members can hear this, is that, you know, my 25 years in public service has convinced me that whenever the public, the community comes together to raise their combined voices on behalf of the community, good things happen. And so I want to identify some good things that have come from this focused effort by the community, and particularly this presentation today, but the whole focused effort by the community. Number one, this issue just has a lot more visibility and needed attention. And so it's so many things in a democracy happen sort of off the radar screen until the public engages on it. Secondly, community concerns have mobilized, and this is a significant change. Community concerns have mobilized the CPUC to direct Southern California Gas to halt work and provide more information, to look at options and solutions, and to make sure there are more community meetings on this. There will be more community meetings that'll take place, and the decisions to move forward on this project will be transparent and not off the radar screen. These are significant accomplishments that the community has created by raising their combined voices. Issues like the EIRs or the role of community notifications of capital projects that are included in rate hike hearings is now more on the radar screen for future consideration by all of us. And finally, it's just much more clear that the issues of modernizing facilities, a facility in a disadvantaged community, needs extra transparency and extra consideration, and not something that could even, you know, there could be any perception that it was done because a disadvantaged community may not be paying attention, et cetera. So those are all good things that have happened in spite of, I'm sure, the concerns and anxieties by many of the stakeholders with where we are, you know, at this process at this point in time. So I want to congratulate the organizers of the community. I know that Tomas has really worked hard on this, and many others out there on the avenue. I want to thank the CPUC for stepping up and being significant participants in this hearing. The Department of Toxic Substances, APCD, the community experts that came forward to help make this really informative. And then finally, I want to thank Senator Lamone's office. the public gets better service when your elected representatives are able to work collaboratively and cooperatively together. And I can't imagine an office that's been that would be better to work with than Senator Lamone's office and Senator Lamone herself. So thank you, everybody. And as I said, decisions are not going to move forward unless they're transparent on this project. And that's the one pledge I think that we can make to you. Thank you. Senator Lamone.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Assemblymember Bennett. And I echo your comments. And really, I want the community to know that we are listening. We are feeling this. We have the same concerns that you do. And in our roles, we have been very active the last 4 months with your local agencies. So Ventura Unified reached out right away. Ventura County Office of Ed, the city of Ventura, mayors and council members all have been very active with our office in letting us know what is coming out of this situation. Certainly, we will be continuing to work on this. This is an absolute commitment to continue to work on this issue. Both Assemblymember Bennett and myself have history in our public office experience of working on these issues, and also transitioning right to cleaner energy has been part of the work that we have done. So this is part of a bigger conversation. I know that the conversations will continue. SoCalGas was not a part of this for this particular hearing, but has opened themselves up for additional conversations. But I also want to commend the state agencies, the Department of Toxic Substance Control, the CPUC in particular, for their letter that they just released to put a pause on this in order for us to determine EIR, moving the site, any other options that will be explored, which I think is the right space to be in. Ventura County Air Pollution District, I think, also involved. Everyone involved is, over the last months, have been doing our best to try to resolve an issue, both that has policy implications, regulatory implications, health implications, environmental implications, and we are going to continue to work together to be able to do this. Para la comunidad, muchísimas gracias de parte del asambleísta Bennett y su servidora. Queremos que sepan que los estamos oyendo, que nosotros también compartimos las mismas preocupaciones que tienen ustedes y queremos hallar una resolución para esta situación que tenemos ahorita en la comunidad. La comunidad de West Ventura es importante para nosotros, sus comentarios son muy importantes y los estamos haciendo y tomando en cuenta a un nivel muy grande. Quiero agradecer a las agencias del Estado, de la ciudad de Ventura, todas las agencias que participaron, porque estamos trabajando juntos para tratar de resolver este problema, que no solo es su problema, también es problema de nosotros, y queremos que sepan que los estamos oyendo y considerando en los pasos del futuro. Thank you very much to everyone, and also Assemblymember Bennett's office. My office. There is a whole lot of staff folks that are behind this that made this today possible, and so thank you very much to also the community organizations. Thank you, everyone.